You can count Auburn among those schools who no longer have a head coaching vacancy. They've tapped Hugh Freeze, who spent the last 4 seasons at Liberty, taking the Flames to unprecedented heights. Freeze has contracted Auburn 6 years, an average of $6.5 million annually, according to our Pete Thamel.
I don't believe in deserving something. I believe in earning something. And I do believe we fought to earn this. And it's been rocky at times, but you can become overcome with emotion because of, truthfully, I feel like, and this is no offense to another school or anything, but I feel like I've leapfrogged where I was at that time. By being in this family and this culture here, and I loved my time there. But I see this as one of the top 10 football programs in the nation, and I believe that. And so I don't want to get emotional. We had that cry last night, so we've celebrated that. And I don't know if rewriting the story is exactly the right word, but it's going to make for a good ending.
We're joined now by college football insider Pete Thamel. And Pete, we watched this head coaching job eagerly to see who Auburn returned to. What makes Freeze the right fit?
Well, Hugh Freeze can win SEC football games, Wendy. It's very simple. Cut out all of the clutter, which Auburn clearly did, and Hugh Freeze is one of the few proven coaches who can beat Alabama. Hugh Freeze hit a low point when he got fired from Ole Miss, has climbed back. Auburn's at a low point now. It's a marriage of mutual desperation, and these two sides have come together to try to topple Alabama.
Pete, listen, what'd you call it? A marriage of mutual desperation. Nothing like that to get started, but there's only one way to go. Pete, thank you. Stick around. We're going to talk to you about some of these other coaching hires as you take a look, a freeze frame, if you will, of the head coaching career of Hugh Freeze. And to your point, he's been down and now back up again. Roddy, I'll start with you and quite simply your reaction to Auburn's decision.
Well, Wendy, it was not overly surprising because of the fact that Hugh Freeze has beaten Alabama, and it seems like that was the driving force behind this. And the way that Auburn has gone about it, the way that Hugh Freeze has gone about it, they're basically counting on the fact of weathering the initial storm and then winning football games, which ultimately cures everything. It'll make everybody or a large contingent of people who have issues with it forget about the past transgressions. And ultimately, if he can beat Alabama, if he can get them in the college football playoff, he can get them in the national championship conversation, then a lot of people will be willing to forgive what happened in the past, including those vacated wins, including the allegations that have been brought against him. But ultimately, it was not all that surprising because Hugh Freeze has familiarity with the league, Lutz, and ultimately has beaten Nick Saban.
Well, and at the end of the day, right, there was Plan A, Lane Kiffin, Plan B, all right, Hugh Freeze, and no Plan C. So this had to happen for Auburn. This had to work. And, the bottom line is we are in a climate of college football right now that is perfect for this marriage as it's happening right now. You're going to have an unbelievable collective and NIL funds at his disposal. You've got a brand new football operations facility that's 25 years overdue for Auburn. And quite honestly, Roddy, I mean, Alabama's been living rent-free in Auburn's head for how many years now? And they're so desperate to have somebody that's proven he can put a product on the field that can beat Nick Saban. And Nick Saban's not going to be there forever. And I don't think you can necessarily wave a magic wand here, but because of the transfer portal, because of Auburn's resources, and I do think Hugh Freeze is a tireless recruiter. I do think he's a good evaluator of talent, and I do believe that he relates well with kids. You add all of those things together, and you probably have the right guy at the right time. And remember this, if you think morality is a part of this, just always remember that winning cures all woes. You win, nobody will care about anything you've done in the past.
Especially against a certain team in Tuscaloosa. If you're in Michigan, you got to beat Ohio State. If you're at Auburn, ultimately you've got to beat Alabama. And then you're right, absolutely, all is forgiven. Certainly not the only head coaching hire. It was a busy week across the landscape.